Myths have always fired our imaginations. Tales of lost civilizations, epic wars, and fantastic creatures passed down through centuries. Often dismissed as mere fiction, these stories sometimes hide surprising truths. As archaeologists and researchers uncover evidence, the line between legend and reality blurs, revealing that some of the world's most famous myths had real-life counterparts. This journey explores how truth and legend coexist, each shaped by history and human imagination. One of the most enduring legends of Western mythology is Atlantis, an advanced civilization said to have sunk into the ocean in a single day and night. The tale, recorded by the Greek philosopher Plato, has captivated imaginations for centuries. While many viewed Atlantis as pure fiction or philosophical allegory, archaeological discoveries on the island of Santorini, ancient Thera, have shed new light on this legend. Santorini was once home to the highly advanced Minoan civilization, which thrived until a catastrophic volcanic eruption around 1600 BCE. This eruption devastated the island and caused parts of it to collapse into the sea, an event with striking similarities to Plato's account of Atlantis's sudden destruction. The Minoan civilization boasted sophisticated architecture, vibrant frescoes, and extensive maritime trade networks, paralleling Atlantis's portrayal as a powerful and advanced society. While Santorini is not in the exact location Plato described for Atlantis, the parallels between the Minoans' downfall and the legend are compelling. Historians suggest Plato may have drawn inspiration from the volcanic eruption on Santorini and the subsequent collapse of Minoan culture when crafting his story. As modern archaeology reveals more about the Minoans, it becomes increasingly plausible that the Atlantis myth was inspired by real historical events, illustrating how legends can preserve echoes of ancient truths. These discoveries have blurred the line between legend and reality, proving that the tale of Atlantis might be more than just fiction. The enduring fascination with Atlantis and the parallels found on Santorini remind us that myths often have roots in real events and civilizations. In the case of Atlantis, history and legend intertwine, offering insight into how ancient stories can carry fragments of truth through the ages. Homer's Iliad tells the epic tale of the Trojan War, a decade-long siege sparked by the abduction of Helen, deemed the world's most beautiful woman. For generations, scholars and historians debated whether the war and even the city of Troy itself were purely mythological, created to illustrate themes of honor, bravery, and the tragic consequences of human folly. In the late 19th century, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann began excavations at Hizarlik in modern-day Turkey. His discoveries revealed the ruins of an ancient city that would later be identified as Troy. Evidence showed this city thrived during the late Bronze Age, around the time scholars estimate Homer's legendary conflict might have occurred. Archaeologists found layers of destruction at the site, suggesting the city was violently destroyed multiple times. This aligns intriguingly with the timeline of the Trojan War legend depicted in the Iliad. Artifacts such as arrowheads and damage to fortifications hint at real battles fought here, lending historical weight to Homer's tale. While iconic elements like the wooden Trojan horse likely remain literary embellishments, the discovery of Troy has blurred the line between myth and reality. The evidence of warfare and destruction in ancient Troy supports the idea that some sort of significant conflict, possibly involving the Mycenaeans and the Trojans, took place in this region, inspiring the epic stories passed down through generations. The unearthing of ancient Troy demonstrates how myths can have roots in historical events. Homer's Iliad, long believed to be a product of imaginative storytelling, appears to draw on collective memories of real battles, warriors, and sieges. While the gods and heroes of Greek mythology add dramatic flair, the archaeological findings at Hizarlik show that the city of Troy was indeed real and experienced warfare. As with Atlantis, the case of Troy exemplifies how legends and reality can intertwine, preserving echoes of actual places and occurrences. The Trojan War's enduring appeal lies in this mixture of fact and fiction, a legendary conflict that now carries tangible historical significance thanks to modern archaeology. Among the most famous Greek myths is the tale of the Minotaur, a creature with the body of a man and the head of a bull, said to dwell within a complex labyrinth on the island of Crete. According to legend, this labyrinth was constructed by the ingenious inventor Daedalus, and it was so intricate that anyone who entered could never find their way out. The Minotaur was fed a yearly tribute of youth from Athens until the hero Theseus navigated the maze and slew the beast, aided by a simple thread to retrace his path. In the early 1900s, British archaeologist Sir Arthur Evans excavated the Palace of Knossos on Crete. This sprawling complex of interconnected rooms and corridors, built by the ancient Minoan civilization, is believed to have inspired the myth of the Labyrinth. The palace's layout was so elaborate and maze-like that it could easily lead visitors astray, much like Daedalus's legendary creation. Additionally, art and frescoes discovered at Knossos prominently feature bulls, a central symbol in Minoan culture, and depict activities like bull-leaping ceremonies, highlighting the animal's religious and cultural significance. Historians and archaeologists believe the story of the Minotaur's labyrinth may be a mythologized reflection of Minoan religious practices and architectural achievements. The complexity of the Palace of Knossos likely fueled the legend of an inescapable maze, while the Minoans' reverence for bulls could have led to the creation of a half-man, half-bull monster in Greek imagination. Through generations of storytelling, actual historical and cultural details were woven into a dramatic narrative of heroes and monsters. Like Atlantis and Troy, the myth of the Minotaur's labyrinth contains kernels of truth rooted in real places and practices. The discovery and study of Knossos have shown us how this legendary tale likely emerged from the impressive structures and bull-worshipping ceremonies of the Minoan civilization. As with other myths that have stood the test of time, the legend of the Minotaur demonstrates how ancient stories can preserve echoes of genuine history, bridging the gap between myth and reality. Greek mythology tells of the Amazons, a tribe of fierce warrior women who were said to be equals to men in battle. These formidable fighters, often depicted clashing with heroes like Hercules and Achilles, captured the imagination of ancient Greeks. For centuries, many scholars dismissed the Amazons as purely mythological figures, representations of the Greeks' fascination and apprehension about societies where women held power and independence. However, archaeological discoveries have begun to reveal a surprising truth behind these legends. In the Eurasian steppes, particularly within what was once the domain of the nomadic Scythian and Sarmatian tribes, covering parts of modern-day Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan, excavations have unearthed the graves of women buried with weapons such as bows, arrows, and swords. Dating as far back as the 6th century BCE, these burial sites show that some women lived and died as warriors. Their bones display injuries consistent with combat, indicating they actively participated in battles, riding horses, and wielding weapons alongside their male counterparts. These findings bring the myth of the Amazons closer to reality. The lifestyles of these real-life female warriors bear a striking resemblance to descriptions of the Amazons in ancient Greek myths. Historians now believe it's likely that tales of fearless female fighters from the steppes influenced Greek stories about the Amazons. Through cultural exchanges, trade, or conflicts, news of these women would have reached Greece, sparking the imagination of storytellers who wove these facts into the dramatic legends we know today. By examining these ancient burial sites and studying the remains of these warrior women, historians and archaeologists gain valuable insights into societies where gender roles were more fluid than previously thought. The existence of these formidable female fighters challenges modern assumptions about ancient warfare and leadership, proving that the idea of warrior women like the Amazons was not purely fictional. Just as archaeology has brought the legends of Atlantis and Troy into sharper focus, the discovery of real warrior women in the Eurasian steppes shows how historical reality can inspire and shape enduring myths. In many North American indigenous cultures, the Thunderbird is a legendary creature believed to control the weather, creating thunder with the flap of its enormous wings and lightning from its eyes. Often portrayed as protectors and powerful forces of nature, these giant birds appear in numerous stories and artworks, symbolizing strength, divine intervention, and a deep connection between the people and their environment. As paleontologists have excavated across the continent, they've unearthed fossils of enormous prehistoric birds and flying creatures that once dominated ancient skies. One striking example is Argentavis magnificens, a giant bird from South America with a wingspan of over 20 feet. While Argentavis lived far before humans and not in North America, finds like this prove that massive birds once existed. Fossils of large creatures, such as the giant pterosaur Quetzalcoatlus, with a wingspan up to 36 feet, also suggest the world's past skies were populated by creatures large enough to inspire awe and myth. Ancient peoples encountering fossilized remains of these giant creatures might have interpreted them through the lens of their spiritual beliefs, leading to stories of mighty birds like the Thunderbird. The fossil record shows us that giant birds and flying reptiles did exist, bridging the gap between myth and reality. Legends about creatures such as the Thunderbird likely emerged as oral histories passed down through generations, potentially sparked by these fossil discoveries or by the memory of encounters with exceptionally large birds that lived during early human times. This merging of paleontological evidence and indigenous mythology illustrates how real natural phenomena can shape and be shaped by cultural narratives. Just as with other myths that have roots in historical fact, the tale of the Thunderbird highlights how ancient peoples sought to explain the world around them. Their stories incorporated elements of their environment and experiences, sometimes reflecting actual creatures that once soared in the skies, showing us that myth and history are often intertwined in intriguing ways. From the sunken city of Atlantis to the warrior women of the Amazon, and from the labyrinth of the Minotaur to the giant Thunderbird of indigenous legend, each myth we've explored holds a kernel of truth buried within its stories. Modern archaeology and science have confirmed that some aspects of these ancient legends were based on real events, people, or creatures. These discoveries show that myths are more than just entertaining tales. They can be vessels preserving historical facts, collective memories, and cultural identities across time. The enduring power of these myths lies in their ability to carry truths through the centuries, albeit wrapped in layers of imagination and interpretation. As we continue to make new discoveries, more legends may reveal their historical roots, reminding us that the world of myth and the world of reality are not always as separate as they might seem. Ultimately, these ancient myths that have been proven true stand as testaments to human creativity and the timeless human quest to understand and record the wonders of our world. They demonstrate that while myths often transcend literal truth, they can indeed stand the test of time and reality. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient myths and their real-world counterparts, please consider subscribing to our channel and giving this video a like. Your support helps us continue uncovering fascinating stories and sharing them with you. Don't forget to share this video with friends who love history and mythology, and be sure to check out our other videos for more intriguing insights. Thank you for watching and staying curious.